Okay, so I'll tell you guys the story of how I ended up here in the hospital. Let's start at the beginning from where it all began. So on June 23rd, I was up in the cabin with my family, and I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old that's gonna turn 2 in September. Well, my 1-year-old ended up headbutting me in the boob on my right breast, and had like a little breast injury. And then after that, like the next day or later on that night, I was laying down next to him, and when he would get up, he'd use his elbow to get up. So he ended up elbowing me on the same spot in my boob. And then throughout the whole trip, he would like backhand me or like accidentally hit me on my breast, same spot. So by the time it was Friday, we were checking out, I felt so sick. I felt terrible. And I ended up coming to the ER right when we got back into town. And when I came into the ER, they said that it was like a fibrocystic breast, that it had to do with my menstrual cycle or whatever. And I told her, no, I don't think it's that. And she said, well, you have a breast contusion. And I was like, okay. So she gave me like steroids to take and ibuprofen. So I had to take the steroids 3 pills for 3 days, and I finished that, and then take ibuprofen for pain, one every 6 hours. So I did all of that, and it did not get better at all. It actually got worse and worse and worse. And then my breast got more swollen. It was red. I had a hard lump. Even when I came in on Friday, there was a hard lump already there. And she just kind of like brushed it off, like, you know, you're fine, it'll go away. Which didn't. So that happened Friday. Started taking it Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then Tuesday night, I went to the accelerated urgent care, and it was like almost midnight. So I went to her and I told her what the ER told me, and the nurse practitioner was like, that does not look like a fibrocystic breast. And then I asked her, well, what does it look like to you? And she said, it looks a lot like mastitis, because it was red, inflamed, swollen, hard. It was huge, and they couldn't do anything for me either. So they just gave me a shot on my butt, which made me feel a lot better. I was actually able to sleep that night. But after that, it still kept getting worse, and then I had no choice but to hit up the doctor who operated on my left breast from when I had mastitis that turned into an abscess back in 2020 when I was pregnant. So I've had a history of severe mastitis before. And I hit her up. She told me she was able to order breast ultrasound for me, and I was scheduled for Friday, this past Friday. And she wasn't able to see me in person because she was out of town. So it was all over the phone. And even though it was all over the phone, she was still able to help me, which I'm so thankful for her. She's an amazing doctor, surgeon. And so after that, was it Saturday? Yes, Saturday, I was still in a lot of pain. It was kind of brutal. And then Sunday, I checked into, no, was it Sunday? Oh no, I hit her up and told her, hey, my boob's hurting still. And she said, if it gets worse, go to the ER. Okay. And then I came to the ER Sunday night. Yeah, came to the ER Sunday. And I spoke with the ER doctor, and then I told him I think I have mastitis because it's big, red, swollen, inflamed, whatever. And they looked at me and was like, are you breastfeeding? And I was like, no, I'm not breastfeeding. I'm not pregnant. I just have, mastitis. And the ER doctors looked at me and said, you can't have mastitis if you're not breastfeeding. I'm like, yes, I can, because I had it before on my left breast, and it turned into an abscess that had to get drained out. And then the doctor just kind of like brushed it off, whatever. And I told him, well, hey, I spoke to my surgeon. She said to let her know like if she needs to come in and drain it. So they end up requesting imaging for my breast. Did another breast ultrasound, which they don't usually do that here, but they made an exception for me. And after they did the breast ultrasound, they got the result. The ER doctor called me and he apologized to me. He said, oh, I'm sorry that you're going through this or whatever. And I guess another doctor wanted to see me, a doctor above the ER doctor or whatever. He came and saw me and said that it looks really bad, that they're going to see what they can do, and they're going to work on getting a bed for me. And I was confused, and I was like, a bed? Like, where are you going to get me a bed? So I asked him, what do you mean by getting me a bed? And they're like, oh, you're going to be admitted into the hospital because according to the ultrasound, it's really bad. You do have a collection in there, collection of pus, blood, whatever. And they have to get it drained out. So when I heard that, I got like super emotional and I was scared and I started crying a little bit after they left. And then I was like, I gotta get my stuff together. So I got my stuff together, called my husband, told him, hey, they're gonna keep me overnight. They're gonna see what antibiotics will work for me and whatnot. So he came, got me my stuff, and then on 4th of July, which was yesterday, I was hospitalized the whole time. So I didn't get to spend time with my family or anything like that, but it's cool. It's alright. So they end up, the following morning, yesterday morning, they end up taking me to the surgery room, the operating room, and they drained it out. And I guess it was a lot of pus in there. And after they drained it out, they patched me up. They put me to sleep, thank goodness, because I would not be able to handle it if I was awake. But this is how they bandaged me up. This whole, you still see like some blood leaking out or whatever. And they patched it all the way towards the back, but I think they made a hole right here. I saw some pictures, but yeah, they made the hole so it just feels really tight and swollen and heavy. But it still feels better than what it was before. And I'll show you guys like some pictures and videos of how it all happened and how red it was. And I feel like not a lot of people are aware of this, that you can get mastitis even if you're not breastfeeding. And it can get really bad to the point where you have an abscess, which is a collection of pus inside your breast area. And it gets really hard and it has to be drained out. And that's what happened to me, both on my left and my right. But yeah. So that's how I ended up here, and now I'm waiting to see if I will get released today. They did some blood work and stuff, and they said that my white blood cell count is double the amount that it's supposed to be. So they're monitoring it to have it go down and see what antibiotic will work for me. So yeah, that's how I ended up here. I also forgot to mention the reason that Abscess got this bad, or the mastitis got this bad, was because I didn't get treated properly from the beginning. So if the ER doctor would have gave me antibiotics from the get-go, I probably would have been better already. But it took about a week for me to get antibiotics, and then within that week it just started progressing worse and worse and worse. And then by the time I got the antibiotics didn't do nothing. It didn't help at all. It was already past the stage of no return because my titties was done. It was just abscess, like huge hard bump everywhere. There's no way it was gonna go down in time. So yeah, have if I were to have gotten the antibiotics ahead of time, the correct antibiotics ahead of time, then I probably would have been good, and it wouldn't have to go this far to where I would have to get surgery for it. But you know, that's why I'm making this video, so people can be aware, because I feel like the doctors don't know. Like, even with my left breast, when it first happened, they had no idea how to handle the situation, because I was pregnant, I was not breastfeeding, but I still had mastitis that turned into an abscess. And that one was really bad, because I had mastitis for almost 4 months before I gave birth. And after I gave birth, my boob like freaking busted, and I had to like drain it out myself. And I ended up going to the ER, and they told me, oh, there's nothing you can do, nothing that we can do for you. So the only reason I was able to find a surgeon to help me was because of my husband. He took our son to the baby's first checkup, and then the pediatrician was the one who called his friend, which happens to be, you know, the surgeon, Dr. Portugal. And she was on her day off, and she called me, brought me in, took a look at it, and then she had to do like emergency surgery right then and there within the hour. Within the hour from when she saw me, she took me to the operating room and then put me to sleep and drained me out. And then I had like 2 holes in my boob. I'll make a separate video for that too. So I have like a lot of pictures and videos, but pretty graphic, so fair warning.